Is that what's happening with Star Wars now? We see people get stabbed in the stomach, and we're like, are they dead or are they not?
How rude is it? You dropped such a massive Ahsoka episode last week, right when I'm playing Starfield. There's a hot take. Lightsabers aren't hot.
Lightsabers are cold.
This is coming from the guy who's made 3 Taken movies.
Am I hyping myself for the show too much? Like,
choke me, hottie. Choke me.
What's up, man?
Episode 6.
Already?
Yeah.
We're already here.
Yeah.
After all this time.
Episode 6 of the Scruffy Nerf Herder Podcast. I feel like we've hit a milestone, seeing that like 10% of podcasts made actually make it past the second episode.
Really?
I don't know. I just made up that stat.
I fully believed you just now.
What do you think? What do you think the number is?
10.
10%?
You think 10? Like, are you talking like 10 and then they just give up?
Here we go.
Or are you saying like
how many podcasts make it past 10 episodes?
That's a question you're asking Jeeves?
I should ask Jeeves, but no, I'm asking
Ask
Goggles.
You know what? I've loved every episode we've made. I've loved people watching our episodes. I love people's comments. I've seen people stitch some things that we've done and said in TikToks. Like, you know, we're starting to get a little bit of a community here, you know?
It's true. It is true.
I've never had so many people hit me up with Star Wars things. People that I didn't even know were watching our stuff. Shout out. Shout out to you, Mia, Nico, all these people that have been watching and I had no clue that you guys were watching. Appreciate it.
So Ask Jeeves is a terrible search engine. It didn't give me the answer I wanted. I just went to ask.com to see if I could get the answer. 26% of podcasts have over 10 episodes.
Okay.
Or have over 10 episodes and have posted an episode within the last 365 days.
Oh,
bro, we're about to be in the top 25% of podcasters.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm doing it with Star Wars.
Heck to the yes. Yeah. How was your week this week, man?
It was good. It was busy. You know, I got a lot going on. I went to a Metallica concert. That was a lot of fun on Friday night. And then the second show that was supposed to happen here was canceled.
Controversy. What happened?
I know. Apparently the dude got sick. They have rescheduled the show for this Saturday. So
nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to be going to the remake show or no?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't bought tickets yet. So
God, how does
we'll see.
How do they pull that off? Like, how do you like reschedule a show of that size? Like, especially when they're on tour.
Well, this was apparently supposed to be their last stop for a while. Like, This was their last stop before they were supposed to have a good long break before I guess they start up in like October again. But the opening bands that were supposed to be coming with them have other shows to go to. So they're not going to show up. So it's just going to be just Metallica.
Dang.
It was a good show, though. I will say it was a really good show. I had never seen them before in concert and they put on a pretty good show.
I will say though, Metallica's that size of a band though, that if they called you up and said, hey, we need an opening act,
somebody showing up.
You show up.
Yeah, I agree. But other than that, man, you know, just a lot of Star Wars going on in my life right now, you know?
Yeah. You know, we were talking off stream about fantasy football and 'tis the season with the NFL season starting, and I was curious. So who was your first pick on the NFL this year?
My first pick on the NFL. What does that mean?
I mean,
in my fantasy football draft?
Yeah, you could totally tell I'm a sports fan. Let me try to be human and talk about sports real quick for a second. Who was your first pick?
I had two leagues. One was with work. That is like a paid league. We have to pay money to be in it. The other one is just like a friend league. And my first league, I was the 9th pick, and I got Devontae Adams.
Okay.
From the Las Vegas Raiders. And then on my second draft I just did, actually a couple hours ago, I was the first overall pick, and I went with Jay Jettas, Justin Jefferson from the Vikings. So
interesting.
Yeah.
If tying this into the Star Wars universe, who would be your first pick in the Star Wars draft?
Ooh. So what is it? Is this sports or is this like
I don't know.
Just like a
I'm coming up with this right now.
This is good. I like this. Let's say
so you get 5 points for every youngling that you kill.
We'll do a draft right now, me and you. You ready?
Yeah.
Draft between me and you, my team versus your team, okay? We have to flip a coin. Hold on. We need to flip a coin here.
I got a memory card here, so I'll flip.
Google.
Oh, yeah, you can Google.
Flip a coin.
No, Ask Jeeves. They're the official sponsor.
Ask Jeeves. Flip a coin. Here we go. Ready? Podcast. Heads or tails? Heads or tails?
Tails.
All right. Let's see. It says heads.
Tails always fails.
Heads. So I go first.
Okay.
5. We get 5. Okay.
Okay.
Anybody.
Okay.
Old, dead, alive, doesn't matter.
Vader and Anakin are the same person. They count as one. You can't be like, I want Anakin, and then I also got Darth Vader. It's the same person.
I get 10-year-old Anakin.
I call pod racing Anakin.
I'm going to go... Ooh, this is so hard. First overall pick, dude. I'm going to go Vader.
Ooh. Okay. For the 2023 official Star Wars draft, the Scruffy Nerf Herders pick, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I see what you're doing there. My second pick was going to be Master Yoda.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Gotta write these down. I'm saying, dude.
All right, so I got Obi-Wan. Second, I'm going to take Ahsoka. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. I can conquer the whole galaxy with those two.
Bro, you're going to get wrecked. I'm going Darth Maul.
Oh, so you got 2 Siths and a Jedi Master. Okay. Palpatine. You can't believe Palpatine made it to the 3rd round.
That's true. That's I just saw that one coming. That's a good one. Ooh, man, Palpatine. Okay. Oh gosh. Let's go with my boy. I'm tired of these It's Mace Windu.
Okay. Fourth pick. Do I go prequels, sequels, or original trilogy? Let's go Mr. Lando Calrissian.
Okay, interesting pick.
Yeah, he's got money.
Pick. My final pick of the 2023 Star Wars draft. I am going. See, I had a pick in my head, and then I just lost it. just completely lost it. Oh gosh, who was? Oh, Dooku.
Interesting.
Count Dooku.
Okay. Well, unlike my co-host, I believe in diversity and women matter. So I'm going to pick Rey.
I think I'm winning. I'm writing down Rey Palpatine because I'm not going to write down Rey Skywalker.
Rey Skywalker. No. Only Skywalker. She's a Skywalker. Yeah, no.
So we have Vader, Yoda, Darth Maul, Mace Windu, and Count Dooku.
Okay.
Up against Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Palpatine, Lando, and Rey.
Yeah, Lando's getting killed instantly.
I mean, charisma? He's got that charisma, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know what he's going to do against any of those people.
Yeah. When you think about Force users, okay, so Dooku can use electricity. Palpatine and Rey both have electricity. So you got 3 people within that lineup.
Oh, you got a little father-daughter thing going on.
Father-granddaughter. Or granddaughter,
grandpa?
I think that's what it comes down to.
Palpatine's grandpa?
Yeah, so Ahsoka... wow. Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine.
Got it, okay.
But is Palpatine's clone son... So I don't know. Maybe it says daughter? I don't know.
No Luke. Luke wasn't thrown in there?
Luke wouldn't even make it in the 25th round. I'm just throwing it out there.
Bro, you could have picked Luke over Lando.
No. Everybody knows you take Lando.
You take Lando in case there's a poker game. I guess we didn't say what the stakes were.
Yeah.
Yoda probably has a really bad poker face.
Yep. So. Well, and if there's like a talent portion, Lando's clearly going to win it.
I don't know any of the people that are on my team that fly ship. Oh, Anakin. Anakin's a good pilot.
Best pilot in the galaxy.
That's right.
Best pod. You know, it would be interesting to see someone create a Star Wars fantasy league where, like, obviously it'd be rigged because everybody's seen the movies, but like, if we created a scoring system for like every single time someone says this, you get a point. Every single time you say this, it were like almost like a bingo card. It would be interesting to create Star Wars fantasy league, but
yeah,
I like
picking Anakin anytime somebody has to say yes, master. I'm trying, master.
Yeah, every time someone kills a youngling, like you instantly get a point.
10 points for Gryffindor. No, wrong thing. I mixed them up.
Yeah, so your first pick was Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
And mine was Obi. Okay. I feel like that's fair. But I want to make it clear it's Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of the Kenobi show, not old Ben and not Clone Wars Ben.
Hey, old Ben. Old Ben's getting wrecked.
He's got great rice.
You strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can imagine.
Yep.
Force Ghost Ben.
Force Ghost Ben, yeah. Kind of an interesting week for Star Wars, dude. Like, I'm still kind of Anakin's back,
coming down off that high from the Ahsoka show.
Yeah. It's and obviously the next episode comes out tomorrow night, so Tuesday. We're gonna be finding more about Anakin. Like, I can't believe it's 2023.
I cannot wait.
Yeah. It's interesting. And like, I know there's people who are kind of upset about it. Like, I saw Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon Jinn was kind of in the news. Yeah. He was in the news because he came out and he said that, like, with all of the Star Wars content we have out there, like with all the animated shows and the TV shows, he's like, Star Wars is becoming diluted and it's not becoming as powerful as it once was. Like, it was like Star Wars was a big deal. But I'm also just kind of like, this is coming from the guy who's made 3 Taken movies. I mean, take that for what you will, but like, dude, Star Wars is at a better place today than it's ever been.
You should never have said that because he's got a particular set of skills and he will find you.
Yep. Yeah.
And he will kill you.
Yeah. Oh, and then he made that wolf movie where he crashed or something and there was a wolf hunting him in the snow. Mm-hmm, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me tell you about Diluted.
Hey, don't talk bad about my boy Neeson's, okay? I love me some Liam Neeson's, okay? Yeah. I apologize, Neeson's, if you're watching this for my boy here.
I think he's just upset. He's upset
that he's not in it more.
Well, yeah, he's seeing all these people get stabbed in the stomach, and he's realizing he played just a bitch of a character in the Star Wars universe.
That is exactly what it is. He's like, how come all these people have gotten stabbed in the stomach? Who have we seen get stabbed in the stomach? I sent you some pictures here. Whew. We saw most recently Sabine Wren.
Yes.
Right in the stomach. Well, it was more like upper liver area, I guess. Mm-hmm. So you could see how I guess she could probably survive that, because the thing that I've seen a lot of people talk about is that Qui-Gon was stabbed like straight in the middle, and they're like, that would have cut your spine. Like, you're dead.
I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking internal organs.
Well, I was trying to think that too. I was like, well, stomach area, but then it was like, this is middle, directly in the middle. His spine's done. And I was like, ooh, I didn't think about that. If that's your nervous, you're done.
Yeah.
But we've seen
Reva
in the Obi-Wan show. Reva got stabbed by Vader. We saw the Grand Inquisitor get stabbed by Reva. Mm-hmm. We saw okay, I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
A lot of stomach stabbings.
Kylo got stabbed.
Kylo got stabbed by freaking Rey.
Yeah.
Your girl Rey Mysterio. But that seemed pretty central too. Don't you think that would have hit his spine?
It looked like it was at his heart. Like, just kill his dark heart.
Even worse. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's got a heart and a dark heart?
Yeah.
She killed his dark heart?
He killed his dad. I mean, it takes a pretty messed up kid to kill Han Solo.
Another guy that got stabbed in the stomach.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stomach stabbing.
But Han Solo didn't come back. Well, he came back as a Force ghost somehow.
Hey. Did he really?
Yeah, in the final movie, he comes back and he's like, "Son,
I gotta watch that movie. I gotta watch that movie. I'm telling you, bro. It's that movie. So one time in theaters, I haven't seen it since. Yeah. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
He's not even a Jedi. How did he do that?
I did see a TikTok this week, and I didn't save it, and now I'm kind of regretting it. It was a doctor who actually explained the science of like the organs you have in here, and like how in certain areas, if you did get stabbed, like you do have better chances. But I didn't even think about a spine, and like, yeah, that would mess you up.
I didn't think about it either, but I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But the other side too is like it's a hot blade, right? So like if it's going in you, it's cauterizing everything, right? Like I don't know, space wizards.
Or is it really cold?
Ooh, I never thought about that. What if lightsabers are cold?
Just so they're not cold. Going down the road here doesn't make sense.
It's almost midnight here, so it's very
melting things. What if it's cold?
What if it's cold? There's a hot take. Lightsabers aren't hot.
Lightsabers are cold.
Yeah. Eat your heart out, TikTok. Yeah, no, I just think it's interesting, and I think we kind of talked about it a little bit with like Star Wars. Like, do you feel like it's getting diluted to the point where it's not as good?
You were asking me at the wrong time because I'm so jacked up on this most recent Ahsoka episode right now that it's hard to think that anything Star Wars is bad right now, because I love the most recent episode. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. Check out our Tano cast where we kind of break it down and go piece by piece through it. But it was such a great episode to me, and I loved everything. They brought back some of the old. I love the new characters, bad guys, everything. Like, I was loving so much of it. I know we had this discussion before where it was like, is it too much Star Wars? And when you asked me then, I was like, yeah, I think so. I think it might be too much. But now I'm like, no way. Because I think what they're doing with this one, at least with the Ahsoka show, is really tying in the people that saw Rebels and Clone Wars. And I think that's something that maybe the general public don't understand. They're just like, oh man, another Star Wars show, Ahsoka, like who's this? Like, oh gosh, but no, it's filling in gaps. And that's the thing, is there's such a big timeline with the movies that have come out that there's been these animated shows and stuff that they consider canon, and these live action shows are just kind of finishing those storylines or filling the gaps between the movies. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I'm right with you. It's like, it's not like they're telling new stories that are like hitting and missing. It is filling in the gaps, and it's the stuff that we've always wondered, right? Like Kenobi. Anybody you talk to would have said like, hey man, wouldn't it be cool to see like Vader and Kenobi like after Revenge of the Sith? And everybody was like, yeah, I'd love to know how we get from Kenobi at the end of Sith all the way to A New Hope. Like, what happens there? And then even like the Clone Wars series, man, like we see the Clone Wars a little bit in Attack of the Clones and then a little bit in Sith, but like Clone Wars expands it so much, and it goes into like detail about Order 66 and all that stuff. And Rebels is another cool show that I'm enjoying. And I just think it comes down to storytelling. Like, as long as the stories you're telling are good and engaging and like they give service to the fans, then like, no, I don't think you have I don't think it becomes diluted. Maybe to the average.
That's what I'm saying. Are we saying Liam Neeson is not like a diehard Star Wars fan? He's just like an average fan?
I don't know.
Because I think that's what it is. To the general public, to the general fan, maybe you've seen him a few times in theaters and that's about it. Maybe you saw him because your husband or wife or spouse, whoever it may be, wanted to see them.
Yeah.
And you just kind of tagged along and you're like, yeah, I like it. It's cool. Space wizards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But man, do we really need this much? Like,
well, so, and here's the other side of it too, right? Like, he does have a point. In like when the first Star Wars movie came out, it was like Beatlemania, right? Like, it was so massive. And new Star Wars content definitely doesn't have that same impact, but nothing does. Like, there's no movies that come out today, like maybe like Avatar had a similar. What do you got?
I was saying, hold on, bro. It depends who you're asking.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that were very excited for this Ahsoka show. I personally was very excited for this Obi-Wan show because I was one of those people that was like, show me something in between Ben after, or Obi-Wan after Revenge of the Sith, and Ben Kenobi. Like, fill that in for me. And I was so hyped for Obi-Wan. Like, as soon as they announced it, I was like, yes, finally, I want to see what happens. Like, so, I mean, that excitement was there for me. I think it's just who you ask.
Yeah, it goes back to that general public versus fans. But I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, and the other side of this too is like the flip side of the coin is like, I am so burnt out on Marvel movies right now and Marvel content that like a bunch of their stuff just got delayed, and I'm like, oh, that's probably a good thing. Like, I'm like, hey, I could take a break. But like, I look at how I feel about Marvel content, and then I look at how I feel about Star Wars content. I can't get enough Star Wars content right now. I'm like, dude, I want more. Like, we just finished Ahsoka last week, and one of the things we said on the Tunnel Cast was like, give me the next episode. Like, I want it right now. And like, it's hard. If it was diluted and I was getting tired of the brand, I don't think you'd have that same reaction or that same response, you know?
Yeah. And I think you saying that is put an interesting thought in my head. Now, I am a fan of Marvel. I am a fan of Star Wars. I love them both. But I get what you're saying. With the Marvel stuff, I do feel like I'm like, oh gosh, here we go again. Like, oh, it's another one. But like with Star Wars, I'm so excited. But I think it also plays into, I feel like the more Star Wars stuff that comes out, the more it makes the whole general story make sense. I think the more Marvel stuff that comes out, I almost feel like it contradicts some of the other stuff that has already been. Especially when they started doing like multiverse stuff. It's like, we talked about that with Star Wars. Imagine if they started doing multiverse stuff with Star Wars. That would be cool, but at the same time, it's like, holy cow, we've barely gotten to the universe that we're in now. But I think that's kind of what's happening with Marvel, is it's like they brought forth this multiverse theory, and now it's like, is anything really permanent? We can go back and change anything. And I mean, we talked about that before. I don't know if it was on here or on our Tanocast about the World Between Worlds, and them essentially getting rid of episodes 7, 8, 9. And imagine if they started doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did with Infinity War. They all these people went away. Bam, we brought them all back because we went back in time. Like, multiverse theory. All right, let's change stuff. Like,
isn't it interesting to think about? And I know, like, obviously we're talking about Star Wars, but like, you look at Marvel, right? And like, after the end of Infinity War, imagine if they didn't fix it and the characters that died were gone forever.
That's what I'm saying. I love that stuff. That stuff is so impactful to me. Like, I don't hate it when they bring back a character or save a character, but it's like, when you take that death away from me, it frustrates me.
Right.
Ultimately, again, jumping way off topic here, The Walking Dead. Anybody that's seen The Walking Dead? I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Glenn character. Loved him the first time that he died. And I thought he was dead. It was such like an impactful death to me. And I was like, oh my God, no, not Glenn. But then they brought him back. Oh, he didn't really die. And I was like, oh, good. But then it was like, I think they did it to him like 2 or 3 times until it was like a final one. And then at that point, I was just like, even though the last death of him was so impactful and so crazy, I was still just like, all right, is he dead this time? Like, I felt like he was dead before, and that's kind of how it is with the Marvel stuff.
Back up after getting hit with a baseball bat. Jessica, I'm still alive. Hey, you guys.
He's got some brain damage, but that's what I'm saying. Like, with the stuff with Infinity War, it was like, when they were all going, you were like, no, oh no. And then it was like, they brought him back, and yeah, it was epic. Yeah, it was this amazing, fantastic scene where they all kind of come together and everybody's back. But then it was like, now what? You know what I mean? I think that's where we're at with Marvels. Is like, now what? Yeah. Now where are we at?
Yeah, there's no consequence. And I don't know. Yeah, I just think that, like, I don't know. It's just such a weird hot take. And other than him being, like, mad about being stabbed in the stomach, I just don't understand, like, what did that benefit you to say that? Like, I don't know.
But think about it. That's what's happening now. Is that what's happening with Star Wars now? We see people get stabbed in the stomach, and we're like, are they dead or are they not? Yeah. Because I'll tell you, and when I saw the Ahsoka show and I saw Sabine, even though I didn't really know who Sabine was, I saw her get stabbed. I was like, oh no, like character dead. And then it was like, she's fine. So now it's like, are they starting to do that? Because again, you thought in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, you thought Grand Admiral Thrawn was dead. Not Grand Admiral Thrawn, no.
The Grand Inquisitor.
the Grand Inquisitor. You thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Like that happened. Reva stabbed him and you're like, oh snap. And then he comes back.
Yeah.
And then you see Vader stab Reva. And then she comes back. And it's just like,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely not diluted. That's not how I would just... It really, what I would refer to Star Wars right now, like if I had to describe what was going on, I would almost... I like the word renaissance. Like I feel like there's almost a renaissance going on in Star Wars right now where we are getting stories that aren't traditionally told. You know, like Star Wars was such a cinematic experience that you got, like you went to the movies to go experience Star Wars. And now you're getting cartoon shows that actually matter, you know, like cartoon shows that are canon. And then those characters are coming into live action through limited series. And it's just like, I don't feel like it's diluted. I just feel like it's entering a new medium. Like, and it's kind of, yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling with diluted. It's just, I don't know if I'm just getting held up on that word, but it's just weird.
Well, I think because you're held up on that is because of what that word means. I think you're hearing that and you're like, whoa, hey, because it's like there's a lot of people that really love Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen all of it, but what I've seen, I've enjoyed. And I can absolutely imagine all the storytelling that happens in that series. And since they made it canon, and now they're basically doubling down on the storytelling that happened in those shows by making them relate to the live action stuff, by including characters from those animated series and making them into live action, which I think people are for. You know what I mean? I think people are down to see that. Like I've really have enjoyed this Ahsoka show so far. And she was somebody that wasn't in the movies at all. She was straight up from the Clone Wars and Rebels. So yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been fun. Speaking of expanding the universe, we have after Ahsoka, the big plan is that Skeleton Crew will be the next show to come out.
Am I hyping myself for the show too much? Like when I was like, man, if this is like Super 8 or like freaking Stranger Things, is gonna be sick. Like, what if it's just not that at all?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like that's the direction they're going. I will say, like, so. The thing is like everything that's written down on paper about this show, it's like I don't understand how it could be bad. I was reading that the people who are working on it are the same people who worked on Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man No Way Home. So it's like those two people are working on this series to create it. Everything's already been filmed for the most part, but the big news was that according to sources close to the show has been delayed until like November of 2024. So it was supposed to launch November of this year, but it's been pushed back an entire year, with a lot of that being assumed that it's probably due to the writer strikes going on.
So it was already filmed, you said?
Yeah, they started filming in, what was the date that they put here? June of summer of 2022, and it wrapped in January or February of this year. So it's filmed.
Okay.
So I assume they're editing it, but I don't know. I guess if you have reshoots or if you have to rewrite some stuff, you can't do that right now with the strikes. But
I mean, if it's kids, that's the only bad thing. It's the only bad thing about kids. Like this whole Stranger Things, it's taken them years, and there was an issue with the writer's strike a couple years back where there was like a 2-3 year gap between Stranger Things, and then all of a sudden you have these kids that are supposed to be a year older, but they're like 18, 19, and you're like, they're supposed to be playing 13-year-olds, and they just don't look it. So that's the only downside when you start, dealing with kids. I mean, like, I think Harry Potter did it right, where they pretty much had it out every single year.
Yeah,
pretty much.
They pretty much were filming nonstop for that.
So we'll see. Obviously, if they filmed it already, but if they plan to do a second season or more, kids might look different. So we'll see.
I just think it's interesting that there's so much mystery around this show that, like, because it is a new story, because it's characters that we're not really familiar with, we know when it takes place, but we don't know like what's going on. It just interests me because could this be one of the first Star Wars movies that we get, or Star Wars series we get, that doesn't have any Jedis in it? Or is Jude Law going to be a Jedi? Like, it's just, I don't know.
We'll see.
The other thing we talked about is with the writer strikes, they were saying that season 2 of Andor probably just got pushed back to 2025, and that Acolyte, which was the other show or movie they were working on, is pretty much like delayed inevitably. Because Andor was filming season 2 when the strikes happened, and then Acolyte hasn't even started anything from that point.
We'll see how that impacts the show, I guess, when the second season comes out with that. I still haven't seen the first one, but
it's a good show. We'll definitely have to watch that. We have a lot of Star Wars we have to get caught up on, but
stop making Star Wars content so we can catch up.
Especially when, like, how rude is it? You dropped such a massive Ahsoka episode last week right when I'm playing Starfield. Like, it's just so rude.
I've been obsessed with Starfield.
Yeah,
it's incredible. It's making me. I had a really hard time trying to focus at work today because let me tell you this too. I'm all over the place right now, but that's what this game's doing to me. I had like a 4-day weekend. I had like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Labor Day off. So it was like 4 days last weekend where I was just straight up playing that game. And I don't remember what day it was. It might have been Sunday or Monday where I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what year it was. Like, I was just like, I'm in space right now in my head. Like, anytime I would look away from the game, I was like, oh yeah, real life. Hold on. I was like, I'm too wrapped up in this game, man. But
yeah,
that's part of what intrigues you about Star Wars, man, is space, the final frontier. Isn't that Star Trek?
Do you feel like you're living your ultimate Star Wars fantasy when playing Starfield? No.
Give me a lightsaber and maybe.
One of the things that, like, it's funny you mentioned lightsaber, because when I'm playing through the game, I'm always like, am I going to find one? Like, am I just going to... But I would have seen a TikTok already. I would have seen something of like, there's 1,000 planets. Maybe one of them has a laser sword that I can
One
use.
of them has to have one.
But like, I also look at a game of this size, and like Bethesda did such a good job with it. And it's so detailed and so like expansive that once you think you hit something, like you discover somebody in a bar talking about everything that sends you on another hour-long mission that you weren't planning on. And I just look at it, I'm like, how far off are we from having a Star Wars game like this? Because when that happens, my life's over, man. Like, my life is 100% over. It's all I'm going to play.
Dude, can you imagine? Why didn't I even think about this? Oh my gosh. Bethesda, you got your next would it have to be EA?
Starfield.
Like who owns the rights to Star Wars?
So what's actually kind of cool right now is in the video game industry, EA had exclusive rights for like the last, I think, 7 years or something like that. And most recently, after like Battlefront blew up in their face, the Disney Games division has kind of been giving it out. So Ubisoft has a brand new Star Wars video game coming out called Star Wars. Oh God. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm going to Google this. I talked about it on my other show. Go ahead.
While you're discussing that, Mr. Nerf Report, I just downloaded Star Wars Battlefront 2, the old one, on my Xbox because I saw it was available. And I was like, what? This is the option? So I haven't played it yet, but you bet your sweet tauntauns that I am going to play that with my kids because I feel like they have to see that. And the thing is, like, you were saying, like, Battlefront kind of blew up in EA's face, which is frustrating because I spent a long time playing that game, probably like a year or two after that whole thing went down, and I was loving it. I was loving the game, and I was so upset that I don't even know how to go about it. I was so upset with how everything went down with it because it just gave the game a bad rap. People were like, I'm not going to play this game because of EA. But it was a good game. Like, I enjoyed a lot of it. I enjoyed the different places, playing the different characters. Like, there was obviously some things about it that weren't the best, but there's a lot to that game that was just so much fun. And I feel like it gave you a good fighting experience, but I have been enjoying Starfield for its kind of like RPG style. And what I think is really cool about it too is the choices that you make in that game really do affect the game.
Yeah.
And could you imagine a Star Wars game where you're like, do you want to be a Jedi? Do you want to be a bounty hunter? Do you want to be a Sith? And the decisions that you make kind of lead you down this path of one or the other. Like, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, like it's kind of interesting when you're playing Starfield because like the people you're with are kind of like pacifists, you know, like they're very peaceful. And like I was in this moment where like people came in guns blazing, like holding us at gunpoint. And like being a gamer, I'm just like, oh, I'll shoot my way out of this. But then like me shooting my way out of this made my counterpart so pissy with me that they were like such a like, I don't know, like I get back to the base and they're just like, I need to talk to you. And like they're in my face and he's just like, how could you do that back there? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I believe the words you were looking for were thank you. I just saved you. Like, and I'm having these conversations and I'm like, God, man, like if you create a Star Wars game like this, again, my life is over, dude. I'm just, but I have been like, it is scratching that itch, man, like of being able to explore the galaxy. And it's just such a fantastic game, dude.
There's so much to do.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you at least, you know, were getting yelled at for actions that you took with thought, because twice now I've been scolded and yelled at, and things have affected me in that game for accidents.
Yeah.
Okay. The first accident was me going up into space to fight off the space pirates that were attacking a ship. I didn't know that they were attacking a ship. I didn't know I was supposed to be saving that ship. I just heard, go up and kill the space pirates. So I get up into space and I heard them say, oh no, it's this guy. And they ran away. Apparently they flew away. I didn't know. So the only ship I saw that was flying around was apparently the ship I was supposed to save. So I start shooting that ship. And boy, oh boy, do my counterparts get so angry at me. They're like, what are you doing? You cannot be shooting that people. I will not stand while you try to unalive these people. I was like, whoa, it was an accident. Like, holy. And now the ship's after me. And I have what choice do I have?
Yeah. You got to shoot them. You got to take them out. You must fire
so
when
then
ready.
Another part, I literally was just like, I was holding my controller. And I was just like playing the game. And I was like sitting like this. And I don't remember what I did. I think I did this. I like scratched my nose and I accidentally like pulled the trigger, which was like the gunfire trigger. And it like shot a guy that I was talking to. And I was supposed to get like some key from him or something. And I like killed him. And my guy was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oops.
Yeah.
Same thing. He scolded me. He's like, what did you do back there? And I was like, dude, I accidentally pulled the trigger. My bad. Like,
yeah.
Imagining in real life being like, my bad. I had an itch and the gun went off. I'm sorry.
There's one of the characters in the game that got so mad at me that when I walked up to him, he was just like, what do you want? He's like, keep on walking. And I was like, bro, I'm going to shoot you right now. Like,
you're next.
Yeah. And then I've gotten to a point where I've started to tell people, like, you need to stay here. Because, like, I'm going out on a mission, and I'm like, I'm not bringing you because I'm about to do some dark stuff right now. Like,
I'm not bringing you because I don't want you yammering in my ear.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah. Although some of them in your crew, they're like, oh, I get it. Like, I get why you had to do that. But it's just interesting. It's such a good game. If you haven't played it yet and you're a fan of space and Star Wars, highly recommend checking it out. Star Wars games coming out. We have Star Wars, the Ubisoft game, which is called Star Wars Outlaws. Not going to be as much RPG. Ooh. It's kind of more about like a non-force user. She's a rebel. You basically are working. I guess I shouldn't even say rebel. You're a scoundrel, and you're smuggling and working your way through the galaxy. They do have like a cool reputation system that if you piss off the local gangs, the gangs will send people after you and like hunt you down, but not as expensive as Starfield. And then you have another game that's being done by Respawn, who are the people who did Apex Legends. They're working on a first-person shooter for Star Wars, so hopefully that's like a Battlefront clone. Like that would be kind of cool. Bit Reactor, they're like the turn-based tactic company. They're making a Star Wars game. Star Wars Eclipse will be a High Republic era Star Wars video game. And then you have Knights of the Old Republic that is getting remade. And then Skydance is making a Star Wars game as well. But the majority of them are kind of like what we saw with Jedi Fallen Order in the sense of like, it's a third person action adventure game. It's not really like an RPG. It's just like a very narrative-driven game, which works in the Star Wars universe. But I look at something like Starfield, and I'm just like, God, if you could make a game like this in the Star Wars universe, I'd be all in, man. Like, decide to your point, decide whether you're going to be a Sith or an Imperial or like be a rebel or a smuggler. Like, let me have that impact.
So what would be your preferred timeline then if they were to do a Star Wars game?
I think the Skywalker saga. Like, I see what you're saying. Timeline would definitely be probably A New Hope, Empire, and yeah. Because I feel like if you get into like the birth of the Empire and the Clone Wars, like obviously there's a lot to talk about there. The sequels, I feel like kind of a weird time, but I don't know. What time period would you pick?
I immediately wanted to go like the prequels.
Okay.
But then I was thinking about it, and I think what you said is maybe better, because it would be like what I've noticed with the Starfield game is it's hard to be a bad guy. Mm-hmm. The game really punishes you for doing the wrong thing. And it really, I don't want to say makes you want to be a good guy, but it very much pushes you in that direction. And I feel like that would be the same if it was the prequels. Whereas I feel like if it was the original trilogy and you were, let's say, part of like the Republic or the Rebels, it would be a lot of like hiding, you know what I mean? Like trying to keep out of the Empire's, eyesight and things like that, and living in a world where the Empire is running a lot of things. So yeah, I think I'd go with what you said, or maybe there's an option.
Ooh, kind of like the game, like the Lego games where you could play like whatever episode you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. It would be cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely check out the game. It's super cool. It's been super distracting, like you said, man. I've been having very, very late nights of like 1 a.m. going to bed and just like and here's how I tell like a good game is like if I step away from the game and it's all that I'm thinking about, I'm like, oh, this is a good game. And like, I put a game. There's a game called Days Gone for PlayStation, and it's a zombie game. And it was a lot like the impact that Starfield had on me, where when I stopped playing Days Gone, literally the next day at work, all I was doing was like Googling about the game, reading about the game, and just taking everything I could. And that's what I'm doing with Starfield, man. I'm just like, when I'm not playing it, I'm reading about the game. And it's just, come on, Disney. Make me a Star Wars game.
Yeah, no, I never even thought about that. And I'm almost upset that you brought it up, because now I want that really bad.
Exactly. Well, let's change the mood then from upset to TikToks.
I'm so excited, bro. I love this part of the episode.
We've got a total of 9 TikToks.
9?
9.
As in like 9 Star Wars movies?
9 Star Wars movies. So
let's start off with the prequel trilogy.
If we have any prequels we can start off with. Here, we'll start off good. You and I are both Lego collectors. We enjoy making Legos.
Love them.
This, in my opinion, is the greatest Star Wars Lego set ever made.
Okay. Holy cow.
Wow. Just the sheer size of this is incredible, man.
Wow. Are those like little minifigs?
Yeah. Imagine having an entire room of your house just dedicated to this.
Dang, that's crazy. I've always loved that. I love that in the prequels.
Yeah.
Where it was all like that's at the Senate. Is that what they call it? The chambers.
Yeah.
And all of them would come out on their own.
Yeah. I would love to see like a follow-up one to see like what they have in each of the Senate pods, where like what figures did you pick and what did you put in there.
Right.
But yeah.
That's so cool.
Definitely cool.
That was incredible.
This one you sent to me, and I thoroughly enjoyed this, so I wanted to include it for our
which one is it?
For our audience this week.
Hey, what, you Ricky Ricardo looking motherfucker?
Oh, there's a Star Wars fight in the street. Oh, he's force choking him. The guy is just like The fact that he sold it so well is just what I love that TikTok so much, man.
So that was sent to me by my wife's cousin, Mia. And my gosh, when I tell you, I laughed so hard when I saw that. My wife came in and she's like, Mia sent me 2 TikToks. You got to see these. And that was the first one she sent me. And oh my gosh, I was dying. And it comes out, you Ricky Ricardo looking mother. They throw out the lights. And it's not like the light up ones. Like they had to throw them out.
No. They're the Walgreens $7 lightsabers is what they're pulling
They start fighting. Force choke in the middle of the street. It's so funny. I loved it. It's so good.
Next up is we've been doing this podcast, as we said, for 6 episodes, and whenever anybody asks me what's the show about, this is going to be the TikTok I'm going to show them moving forward.
Send them this one. Okay.
Holy Santa Claus shit. Can you imagine if we had these when we were 12?
Even better. We got them when we're 40.
You know what's amazing? They're not that noticeable on your face.
Just us playing with things that are designed for kids. And
I'm very fortunate, and I'm sure you are as well, that we are married to people that have accepted this childish behavior of ours of being this obsessed with Star Wars. So
100%.
Thank you to our wives.
Yes, thank you. Speaking of Star Wars girls, let's pull this up.
Ooh.
Every man wants a Star Wars girl. Every man wants a Star Wars girl until you get a Star Wars girl, and then you have to look Plo Koon in the eyes every time you take a piss. Is this not fun for you anymore, Josh?
You know what? 100% agree. I think I'd say, I'm glad that I'm with somebody who likes Star Wars, but is not a Star Wars girl.
Yeah.
I guess I would say, you know what I mean? Because that, I don't know. Would I be okay with that?
Yeah.
Going to
Yeah. There's some aggression there, which I assume Josh is her husband or her boyfriend.
Oh, man.
And she was just like, oh, you want me to be a Star Wars girl? Enjoy looking Plo Koon in the eyes when you're taking a piss. But joke's on you. I watch TikToks, so I sit down when I'm using the restroom. So I'm not looking Plo Koon.
Whoa. Saying you sit down when you pee? Is that what you...
Yeah. It's 2023, and I've got TikToks to watch. I'm not going to stand for that.
Your wife is like, why is he in the bathroom for so long? All he's doing is peeing, and you're just
watching TikToks. We on the Nerf gaming side this week, man. We had a video where we talked about the new PlayStation Portal, and there's a clip in that video where I'm using my phone to play PlayStation games, and I'm sitting on the toilet in the video. And I was like, oh, that's going to probably make some people mad that there's me sitting on the toilet. And I just made my entire audience look at me on the toilet. And more people were upset by the fact that I said something nice about PlayStation than were upset about me being on the toilet, which is a win. So
I think I'm more upset with the way you say toilet.
Toilet? Toilet?
Toilet? Toilet?
Toilet.
Is that like a accent
that
where you live now?
Like New Jersey? Toilet? I don't know.
I say toilet. Toilet. I guess I emphasize the I.
Yeah, I'm just going to toilet. I don't know.
Toilet. Like I told it to you yesterday. Toilet.
So it's toilet.
That's how I say. You tell us in the comments. How do you say toilet or toilet?
So let me sit on the toilet.
Sitting on the toilet.
Sitting on the toilet.
Sitting on the toilet.
We got my girl Shinhati.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Shinhati fans out there, including this girl right here.
I could fix her. Yeah? Well, I could accept her as she is. You don't like the murder? Grow up. The atrocities are part of her, and I've decided they're funny.
What was that?
Oh, that is some Shin stands. So Shin stands are becoming a very real thing where the internet is becoming very obsessed with Shinhati as a character right now. Like her force choking people in the last episode is probably going to become a meme where people are just going to be like, choke me, Hati, choke me.
Choke. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Speaking of the time period that we're in with Ahsoka, we've been asking the question a lot, like, where the hell's Luke Skywalker during all of this?
Yeah.
And one TikToker decided to finally answer that question for us.
Oh, okay.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
That's, I mean, man. That's like it's like what you were saying last week, where Yoda was like, last of the Jedi you will be, and it's like, just a bunch of other people too.
Yeah.
Failed to mention that.
Just Luke taking a vacation. Shout out to Beetlejuice, the star of that last video. Ahsoka cameos. So there's been some major celebrities in the Ahsoka show that we maybe never caught. I thought it would be fun to break these down with you in case you missed them. I know I missed a couple of these, so
all right, yeah,
let's show these out.
Here are 10 cameos you missed in the first episodes of Ahsoka. First up, we have Blue C-3PO from Star Wars. We also have Orange R2-D2 from Star Wars. Next up, we have Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim. Next, we have Lego Star Wars Money and Red C-3PO from Star Wars. We also have... Holy shit, is that Mr. Krabs?
Yep. Yep. That is Mr. Krabs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the Ramona Flowers is what got me, man.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. All right, down to our final two. So let's jump into this one. This one really got me this week.
I love you.
Liar! Jay? You're with him! You brought him here to kill me!
Oh, wow. Torn between two loves.
That video needed to go on for like 30 more seconds. And it would have been fantastic.
It was great. It was great for what it was. Loved it.
I agree. Yeah. Is she the only actress that has crossed over between Marvel and Star Wars?
Bro. Mace Windu? Samuel Jackson? Nick Fury?
Yeah, I guess he is an actress.
Come on now. Oh, did you say actress? Is that what you said? I thought you said actor. No. Is Mace Windu, is Samuel Jackson?
We'll say Samuel L. Jackson. I didn't even think of that one. He's been in that and
there's got to be more. There's got to be more.
Liam. Has Liam Neeson been in Marvel? Rosario Dawson's been in Marvel. She was in the Daredevil show, wasn't she?
I didn't watch that show.
Wow. That's a
Which one, though? Isn't there been two of them?
Daredevil, the TV show Netflix made.
Wasn't there two of them, or no?
Oh, you mean like 2 seasons?
Like 2 shows. I thought there was 2 different Daredevil shows.
There was the Daredevil movie that had what's-her-face in it?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, thank you.
Yeah.
And
what's-her-face? Ben Affleck.
And then there was the Netflix show, which I believe there's only Charlie Cox, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And Rosario Dawson, I think, is the love interest in that show.
I played Daredevil in a high school play that we made up.
That is true.
You were Superman.
That was a fun time, man. That was a good show.
Crossover.
Yeah.
We were doing multiverse stuff before it even was a thing.
Oh, for sure. We were way ahead of our times, man. Way ahead of our times. But all right.
All we needed was a Jedi in that show.
All right, final TikTok for this week.
All right.
Let's get this going.
How'd that get in there?
I thought we were going 1 week without you sliding in a youngling death, but
I have a confession.
There it was.
I've got a major confession to make.
Go ahead.
So before we filmed Tunnelcast, when we were breaking down Ahsoka, I was like, hey man, I need 15-20 minutes to come on here.
You did.
I was 100% ready to film. I just didn't have a TikTok of a youngling death.
That's what you took the time for?
Yeah, I was like,
That's what you took the time for?
I need a TikTok of a youngling death. And TikTok's probably alerted to a lot of authorities because literally I was just searching Order 66 younglings.
Oh, no.
Anakin Skywalker kills kids. I was literally just...
Oh, no. I was over there sitting down in the toilet to go pee while you were looking that up?
Yep.
Oh, man.
So tomorrow on TikTok is going to be very interesting to see what I get.
Yeah. Oh, all you're going to get is some red flags. Red
100%.
flags is all we're going to see for you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all the TikToks we get.
Oh, man. Send them in. If you're watching, you have a funny TikTok Star Wars related, send it in.
And of course, to the audio listeners, all the TikToks are included in the YouTube version, so go watch it over there. And you can also Spotify now has video. So if you're listening to our podcast on Spotify, you can actually watch the full-length video versions on Spotify. Yeah, so if you go through like your mobile device or Spotify website, every episode of both of our podcasts, TanoCast, CloneCast, and Scruffy Nerf Herder Podcast, all of those have video formats on Spotify. So definitely check them out there as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you know? What a world, what a time to be alive.
What a wonderful world. Is a great place. So, but I think that's a decent place to end this week's episode.
Yeah, wrap it up, man. It was fun week. We'll see what happens in tomorrow's episode of Ahsoka. I'm excited to see it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
Always. Me and my back scratcher.
And let's go play some Starfield.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now, actually.